a very, very special development and a very special event. I will begin by welcoming you with a mission statement before we go into the event proper. This is titled Consolidation of Handshake Across the Niger, an interactive session with Iba Gani Adams and IGBO YORUBA champions, being organized by Nzuko Umunna in partnership with Ovation International Television. The present day reality facing our dear country, Nigeria, calls for concern. Nzuko Umunna being the organization that initiated and championed the actualization of the handshake across the Niger, which brought the Yoruba and Igbo alliance relationship to a more deeper spiritual relationship, sees these challenges as only an opportunity to reinforce the spirit of handshake across the Niger. For the above reason, the leadership of Nzuko Umunna have confirmed the acceptance of Iba Gani Adams to be engaged in an interactive session with the intelligentsia community of the Igbo and Yoruba nations in order to help put to permanent rest all the fears and attempt to separate the Igbo and the Yoruba. The outcome of this will show that there is real deep spiritual connection between the Igbo and the Yoruba. So in conclusion, the Zoom conference we are holding right now, Saturday, 31st of October, 2020, is the beginning of that important conversation. Signed by Dr. Pascal Mbanefo, General Secretary, Nzuko Umunna, and Mr. Ngozi Odumuko, Coordinator, Nzuko Umunna. And I am yours truly, Dele Momodu, Chairman, Ovation Media Group. So you are welcome now to the event proper. Joining us today, I hope Ben of Ovation International Television would help us to highlight those of our distinguished personalities present at the moment. So I would like to see if you can begin to highlight those distinguished personalities who are present. Please, is Iba Gani Adams, the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba Nation, in already? Mojuba o, Mojuba, Iba, Mojuba, ẹ kú ọjọ́ mẹ́ta o, inú mi dùn láti rí yín, àwọn ará ilé ńkọ́. Very, very, very good to see you. Very prompt. That is the hallmark of a disciplined leader. A good leader must always do things promptly. So I have the pleasure of letting you know that we have the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, Iba Gani Adams, comfortably seated in his palace. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome to Dele Momodu.
I don't know if our Baba, the Baba of Babas, Pa Ayo Adebanjo, is already seated in the house. I don't know if Baba is already seated in the house. Ben, please help us look for Baba Ayo Adebanjo. Is Professor Pat Utomi in the house?
I'm already here.
Baba.
I think we can.
Ìdọ̀bálẹ̀ ni mo wà sà. Mo fi gbogbo ara kí yín sà. Ìdọ̀bálẹ̀ mo wà sà. Ẹ pẹ́ fún wa sà. Ẹ pẹ́ fún wa. Ẹ ní dàgbà yà sà. Ẹ ṣé gan sà. ẹ kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun látijọ́ yìí kò ní rẹ̀ yín bàbá. Ẹ ṣé gan sà. Àmín sà. Àmín sà. Professor Pat Utomi, is he in the house yet? I know he's a multitasker. He might be multitasking right now. What of Lady Onyeka Onwenu, my darling sister, my auntie Onyeka? Is she in the house yet? Is our spiritual father, Pastor Bakare, in the house? Pastor Tunde Bakare. Mr. Oscar Onwudiwe, President General Aka Ikenga Igbo Think Tank Organization, if he's in the house, you are welcome. Please, you can indicate if you are in the house. Let Ben unmute. You have a list of the distinguished participants, so please unmute the participants at this moment. Bashorun, Michael Bashorun, Akin Osuntokun is a very chieftain and an intellectual, a journalist, a businessman, all put together. Prof. How are you?
Bashorun himself.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I salute you.
I always salute, sir. So we have Professor Pat Utomi in the house. He's one of the most cerebral human beings I know, not just in Africa, but globally. It's always a shame that we don't make use of our best, but that is why this conversation must take place. We must assemble our best brains at home and abroad to make sure that Nigeria, or whatever you want to call it in the future, works for all of us. Do we have Mr. Idris Abdulkarim here yet? A great friend and brother of mine. Yes, the hip hop musician. I know that he is also involved in a lot of activities at the moment. If he is here. So since we have our main dignitaries already present, so I think we will just go ahead with the event. We are live, of course, on Zoom. We are live on Instagram. We are live on Facebook, and we are live on YouTube. We want to make sure that as many of our people worldwide are able to see what is going on. So at this stage, I would like to invite my co-anchor, Maazi Ezeoke, to say a few words to us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dele Momodu there. Thank you once more, and thank you everyone. Okay, sorry, I think I was muted. Thank you once more, everyone, for joining us. As the chief anchor has said at the beginning of this is nothing else but the handshake across the Niger. You know, it's an event that is being organized by Nzuko, Umunna, in partner. Please, can you stop muting me? Thank you very much. So in partnership with the Heritage TV, that is Ovation International, and supported by Heritage TV, United Kingdom, obviously being streamed live also on NJENJE Media. So to kickstart this afternoon, as it is, the relationship between the Igbos and the Yoruba could be traced to centuries. And in recent past, thanks to Nzuko Umunna, there has been some inroads made. And in the last couple of days as well, we all are aware of the recent happenings in the country. And the tensions that were created as a result of some activities, which in the course of this event this afternoon, we will get to details of them. On that note, once more, I will say thank you very much, Dr. Dele, and I will be introducing the chief panelist, and that is in the person of Iba, Dr. Chief Iba Gani Adams, to please take the podium, and back office, if you can highlight him, and so that he can speak to us, then obviously we have a follow-up questions to follow. Thank you very much.
Yeah. My seat in my palace is the seat of the panel. I'm with you. Oh. Oh.
We can hear
Hello?
you, sir. We can hear you. You can go on.
Okay. I'm already on seat. Already. I'm waiting for your question, Mr. Ezeoke.
Yes, thank you very much, Chief Iba Gani Adams. Now, the question that I have, the first question that I have for you is, as per the Igbo-Yoruba relationship and your position on restructuring and self-determination. As it is today, obviously, everybody knows the way Nigeria is governed today. You know, if you could briefly give us from your understanding, a brief insight into the Yoruba-Igbo relationship, and you can summarize that by, letting us know your viewpoint on restructuring vis-a-vis self-determination within the Nigerian context. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, I think the Yoruba people have a very good relationship with the Igbo people. If I'm not deeper in the relationship we have between the independent and after independent, I have an insight of what happened when I was very young in the school days. And by then, we have a very good and robust relationship with the Igbo people, because in Lagos by then, the issue of tribalism did not shine in our character. But talking of when I grew up, I involved in activism within the context of Nigeria. I'm in the leaders of one of the socio-cultural groups in Yoruba. In 2013, we have the organization that was formed in Ike. We call it the Southern Nigerian Congress, which was formed in the house of Chief Obafemi Awolowo. We have 50 people in the south, party in the east, and another 50% in the southwest. That gives us room to have a solid relationship in this Nigeria. The first meeting was held in Uyo, and we issue a communique that Nigeria
This
I think that what we must focus on, and I would like to begin, is the relationship between Ndi Igbo and Ndi Yoruba. I think that I have repeatedly said again and again and again that part of our problem is that we don't read history well. And I want to lead people to read the history of the human race as it has evolved. And one of the best writers on this subject is a man called Jared Diamond. Many of us may have read his book, his Pulitzer Prize winning book on guns and steel, and of course, the book Collapse, how countries or societies have failed through human progress, human history. One of the points that he makes in looking at how Africa evolved, by the way, the very base of human civilization or human regeneration, Africa, and people began to move away. And he looked at the waves of Bantu people and all of that. And he began to talk about how, if you look at language, before great sophistications came, basic things that belong to like the body, how we try to get food, and you look at relationships in language, you will find people who were once the same people, after they moved apart a little and life got more sophisticated, their language developed sort of differently. So if you look at the Igbos and the Yorubas, you will find that the basic things like body parts, Imu in Yoruba is Imi in Igbo. Eti in Yoruba is Nti in Igbo. Enu in Yoruba is Onu in Igbo. And I can go on and on like that. I have been privileged to be one of those sons of this country who has lived in every part of the country. I was going to a secondary school in Onicha when the Civil War started. A few months later, I was on the Nigerian side and I continued school in Ibadan. Most of my secondary
Okay, sorry that I think Prof is frozen. It's quite unfortunate. Again, that's a network issue. Let's know when Prof is back. But you know, to move on, I don't know if the back office can check quickly if our sister Onyeka Onyeka, if she's joined us. Do we have Onyeka Onyeka in the house now?
Let's check.
Sorry,
Is Prof back? Is Prof back?
Chief,
Professor
I don't think Prof is back. Do you want to bring someone else, Chief?
Yes. Okay. Maybe we will go ahead and bring our Baba Chief Ayo Adebanjo, and then Prof would wait until he has finished. Then we can take Prof again.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, Adebanjo, are you here with us? Can you please? Oh, thank you very much.
Can you unmute Baba, please?
Baba, can you unmute yourself, please? While you're being unmuted, once more, I will welcome you back again. We obviously a couple of months back you joined me where
Maazi, please go on.
Okay, thank you very much, because I was muted before. Baba, please, can you unmute yourself? I can still see that you're muted. And I want to say thank you very much for joining us. You know, I know it's not been easy. Yes, thank you very much. You are now muted. You've joined us. We had this conversation before. I remember the last conversation we had. If you still remember, that's a couple of months when you joined me with Chief Nyanwodo and others. And here we are again. And I want to quickly, sir, ask the following. I want your intervention to look at this, first, the Igbo-Yoruba relationship. And we recently saw last week the message from Adeyinka grandson, who asked Ndibo to vacate Lagos. That was Monday. And, obviously some people took that serious, some people didn't. And what is it, as the elder we have in the house, what is your message to Ndibo today, especially those Ndibo in Southwest Nigeria, vis-a-vis the relationship between the Igbos and the Yorubas? Thank you very much, sir, once more for joining us.
Thank you very much. I think I should take this opportunity to emphasize and educate our Igbo friends that you young people now must not encourage this dissension tactics that is being put to us. You are just emphasizing an unknown Yoruba person whom I even don't know. I've never heard of him. And you will notice that immediately that came out, the leader of Advocacy issued a statement to the zoning. It's on record. How can at this stage anybody telling us the Igbo should go away? Since when did we start? And I want to emphasize, when some time ago we had an assembly in Enugu, handshake across the Niger, I said publicly that the handshake across the Niger, as far as we are concerned, is not a favor to the Yorubas at all, or to the Igbos. We are not doing a favor. I didn't come to pacify you. I went to Enugu on that shake in the enlightened interest of the Yorubas. What many people of you don't know, especially those of us who started the battle from the beginning. We have all been oppressed by the section of the northern people. And the clamor the Igbos are now talking about is all our clamor. The Igbos are fighting an enemy they cannot defeat alone. The enemy is also oppressing the Yorubas, and the Yorubas cannot defeat them alone. But by the time the Yorubas and the Igbos combine together, we will send away the enemy. That's common sense. So the question of asking across the Niger, I always say, it's not a favor to the Igbos. It's a system in our own enlightened self-interest. If we believe in the unity of this country on the basis of equality, it is not a favor at all. And I must warn those who don't want this unity to exist, and I'm now talking to our Igbo friends, you must take care that our enemies will be putting a lot of issues to separate us, and you must try to kill it. There is no doubt that both the Igbos and Yorubas in the past were forfeited ourselves in one form or the other due to misunderstanding. In this short program. But if you don't forget all that, you'll be missing the point. The enemies will be happy. What must get straight is that the Fulanis who are dominating the country today have been successful on the principle of divide and rule. When your Yoruba says you don't have anything to do with the Igbos, they're only thinking of when the northern people are using the Igbos against the Yorubas without their knowledge. But as far as the Yorubas are concerned, I know as always from the beginning that we can't avoid being an enemy to the Igbos. We must find our presence jointly. But unfortunately, that happened. Now they want to use the Yorubas against the Igbos. Those of us who lived through the period of separation, they caused the dissension between Awolowo and Akinola. And we know the result today. I'm old enough to, I was present. It's not a question of being told the story. And we know all that passed all along. All the time they tried to bring dissension between the Igbos and the Yorubas. We know what has been the result. And what many people don't know is that even before independence, at the election, Shifaulo offered serve. I'm repeating it often time. Don't go with these northerners. I will serve under you. It's on record. Who is out telling us that we don't like them? Unfortunately, the colonialists and all that got in. And I think, I must say rightly now, with the retrospect, if Dr. Nzuko were alive, we now know that he made an error of judgment by going with the North. If the action group and the NCSC are combined at that time, we would have formed the government. But that is gone. My view now is that we don't do into the past about the errors of either side. What is the way forward? The way forward for us to join together for the unity of this country. And then when you talk about the question of structuring, to question, I want to bring all these arguments together. Anything can arise after the question. And as Iba said, and I think the co-operator was trying to get him wrong, but he got himself right later. It is not the question of self-determination we are after. And I have always said it too, that anybody opposing restructuring is an enemy of the United Nigeria. And I even pinpointed that Buhari is an enemy of the country by not restructuring. Because if you don't restructure, this country can't stay. That's a main statement of fact. And that arises from what Iba said. And I repeat, I am not opposed to self-determination. But the self-determination is the last resort. After making all the attempts that we will come together on the basis of equality, we are not going to beg to be part of Nigeria. And I've always repeated, and I repeat it again if I'm right. I hope Nnamdi Kanu is around. I said, all the laws you are accusing Nnamdi Kanu on, we pipe down. And many of us talk to him, what will he get? And those who know, I have said what to him before. When he was too much around on the same time, I said, look, calm down. If the government of the day is reasonable enough to restructure this country now on the basis of true federalism, and I would like to repeat and remind people, we are not a letter-day federalists. From the word go, before independence, our leadership has always been telling us, you cannot keep this country together under a uniform form of government. He published that book in 1947, Path to Nigerian Freedom. And when they brought in the Maazi Constitution under a uniform form of government, he repeated it that it can work. And that was the aftermath of the motion in 1953 for self-government for Nigeria, which caused a crisis. It was that crisis that led Los Chandos to summon all the leaders of Nigeria at that time, Ezeoke, Sardauna, Awolowo, Balewa, and others to London, because the constitution then has collapsed. And then Awolowo educated them and repeated, I told you, don't give us a unity form of government. This crisis will continue until you give us a federal constitution. And that is where federalism was established for us in 1954. On the of that constitution, they created a premiership in all the regions. And that was when Zimbabwe persuaded Sardauna to stay in Nigeria. Because Sardauna said it was gone away after the motion of self-government, when it was hooted in Lagos by the people when you opposed the self-government motion for 1956. Yeah, that was the same time we made the statement Araba, and we published 9-point program. All this is in history. the essence and the action group, they were unanimous on the question of self-government. It was, although there was for a unitary form of government, which was an anathema to Saudana. But after the London Constitutional Conference, I would have told them, we cannot stay under a unitary form of government. And they agreed. And for those conditions, we had our independent constitution on. The question of revenue allocation was settled. The question of local government was settled. What is the constitutional point they are asking for was settled. Chibaura became the premier. I was another premier. I was the premier in this. Before then, it was neither government business or they had other malfunctioning constitution. I have to go to this back into the issue because a lot of problem we are having now is self-inflicted by the northern hegemony. And I often refer to it that Buhari, who is being insistent on this question of 1999 constitution, is he more intelligent? Is he more educated? Is he more Fulani than Saudana? If you don't understand what restructuring is, go back to the independent constitution. On the arrival, on the coming back from London Constitutional Conference of 1954, because the federal constitution was late. We had federalism, and to each extent, the autonomy was to extend that each region had an office outside Nigeria. Western Nigeria took advantage of the autonomy of the Western region and opened an embassy in London. 15 acres sitting Palace Garden. We are the first to exercise the autonomy. And I have the privilege that it was in that embassy that I got married in 1960. These are all the advantages of autonomy. These are all the advantages that we experienced, we fought for. That is why I have a deep passion for this restructuring. Not because I did anything special, because I knew the beginning. And when we had that self-government in 1956, you know, that government said they cannot have, they're not prepared for self-government. And the colonial office to settle us, well, those who want self-government can have it. The East and the West are opted for it. The North said they are not ready until 1959. It's okay. So, but that autonomy we had under the 1954 Constitution gave us a lot of autonomy on the question of revenue allocation and all this was settled. And it was when the Northern region now had the self-government in 1959 that we are granted as independent in 1960. That is the background, that is the issue of our country. Until the military came, the problem we are having now is military created. It is the constitution the military gave us that we are having that is causing this trouble. It is they who change the revenue allocation system. They created local government arbitrarily. They created the state arbitrarily. And based the number of states they created on the way they are going to have a derivation of revenue. Hence, the people are cheated. We have been on another 50%. When we have the northern western region at cocoa, northern region at Ghana, eastern region at palm kernel. And even when oil was discovered, it was still 50% until the military came. The present system we are using is created by the military, and that is why IGBO is there. So all this is the background. So when everybody is talking of we are going to have development or this, you will not have anything until you restructure this country to federalism, where every region have the autonomy. And when we say go back to independent constitution, some people want to confuse us and say, I'm going to go back to 3 regions. No, after all, politics is dynamic. We are only going to have the number of regional states according to the content of what we have in the independent constitution. The part that we are given to the center will be given to the number of states we agree upon or regions we agree upon, and there'll be peace. But the people who say they don't know, they just don't believe them that they don't know. They're just being mischievous. Because they know that under this constitution, they are cheating the rest of the country. That is enough. and I've accused Buhari before. What many of you too are, you are living in denial. Instead of telling the man point blank that you don't love this country. All the leaders of the country today have been telling him, restructure this country, restructure this country. He remains stubborn. And he continues to give us all this unnecessary killing, unnecessary bloodshed. So it's in the interest of everybody that we restructure. But if the northern region said they are not going to go back to what Adama said. Go back. I won't live in this country under this constitution. And I'd like to warn the Igbos too here. They are being deceived. If you agree, you make you president. They are just deceiving you. And they are deceiving Tinubu now. I won't make any story about it at all. Under this constitution, if you agree, allowed to go in election and say you are going to have presidency, you are deceiving yourself. And I want to make it clear again. If you make my son the president under this constitution, I will oppose him because it's not fair. How can you have a constitution, a system where you say a section of the country cannot be president, and you want the country to change the federation? My God, I'm an embittered Nigerian for what Buhari is doing for us. We are suffering for no just cause. If you agree to equitable thing, there will be no problem. Give us all this regional autonomy. And those who are in the north, the minorities in the north, who are good to a region, give them the choice to have a referendum where they want to be. The lot of Yoruba land and group in the north, it's not right. These are all the things we say we must do under restructuring. Go back to constitutional conference. And there are no product that can have better than 2040 constitution. And when they handed it over to you, they say, well, put it to the archive. What does it mean? No. It's unfortunate we have to be saying this about our president. If anybody knows the problem of this country, will he say putting the recommendation of 2040 aside? And this confirms what I've been saying about it, that our president doesn't appreciate the country. And those of us who are talking about federalism, about unity, we have been talking about it when he was a toddler. The actual group and the Yorubas and the West and the Eastern region have been on this question of federalism as far back as 70 years ago. I have been talking about it since 1950. Our age of state is only 74. It's a toddler day. In 1979, I spent 1 year in Boko Haram area in Maiduguri, preaching unity for Nigeria. And now telling me he's keeping the Niger together. How can he come and preach unity to me now, when you have been doing when we were still in school? In Boko Haram, where they said that I was there for 1 year in Maiduguri. The UPN had the candidate there, Paul Bassi. He died about a month or two ago. And then come on, don't go and tell us that you want to separate the country. That's why you want to do this. But let me warn the Igbos and then ourselves. They will like to be putting all boost back to our unity. You must turn your deaf ears to it. There's no doubt that you tell you to go to the Yorubas, they do this for you. They go to the Igbos, they do this for you. Just tell them whatever has been done in the past is past. As far as we are concerned now, way forward, it is what put us together we're going to talk about. And that's the reality of the thing. Anybody talking about any progress, any election, about anything in this country now, you don't restructure now, you are looking for the separation of the division of the country. No more. I'm done. I'm done. Oh, did you hear me?
that okay, sorry about that technical glitch. I hope you can. I was speaking without being able to unmute myself. So thank you very much for that intervention. Obviously, your summary is, and I want every Igbo person here to take this away. Pa Ayo Adebanjo, once more, my sincere thank you for your intervention. And your message is very clear that Igbos should ignore any call for them to quit Lagos. That is not the reflection and the ideals of what the Yoruba nation stand for. And that must be amplified. And on the other hand, you made mention of the Independence Constitution, or what some people, as we have seen in the other engagement we once had, where you explicitly said the 1963 Constitution, which some others said, well, if we want to, we have to come and tell them what we mean by restructuring. On the other hand, and they also said, well, they will still support the 1963 Constitution. But either way, one thing is very clear, that the current constitution and the current structure is not working. And you clearly also said that if this is not forthcoming, that you will be a reluctant, a supporter for self-determination. But if push comes to shove, you do not have any opposition for that. Thank you, and I can't thank you enough. On that note, my good friend, Chief Dele Mahmoud, please can you take the floor, and let's see if Professor Utomi or Onyeka Onyeka is back on. Thank you very much, Chief, once more.
Thank you, Maazi Ezeoke. Thank you for a job well done. And thank you, our Baba. For those who may not know, Baba is well into his 90s now and is as vibrant as ever. He was one of those in those days that suffered so much, went to prison with Chief Bafemi Awolowo. So you can imagine if after, I mean, they've been fighting before I was born, and Baba is still as passionate as ever. Thank you, Baba, and God bless you. Is Prof back? Is Professor Patu? Okay, Prof is back. Prof, if you can hear me, Prof, I will be very happy if you can speak. Prof, can someone unmute Prof now? Ben, can you
okay,
speak?
great.
Okay, Prof, before you continue, sir, I will be very happy if, along with your speech, you can talk to us about the United Arab Emirates model. I don't know if there is anything that you want to say about that. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. I can speak to that and several other models, but the point to make, again, I find myself supporting Payo Adebanjo very much. You were saying those who may know or not know. I was there on his 90th birthday in his hometown in Jebu here, celebrating it. And he is as vibrant as he was. It was he who many years ago began to say to me, you cannot be an activist. To make change, you have to become active in politics and all of that. I think this country is gifted with men like him. I also want to say that in this business of building this bridge across the Niger, and I was giving the antecedents of how the relationships have grown and have been from time immemorial. I had the good fortune of hosting a meeting of elite of the Igbo nation and the Yoruba nation in my home here. Payo Adebanjo was one of them, Dr. Kolade, Professor Iruku, Ikenwachukwu, and so on and so forth. And I'd like to make a point that was made at that meeting by the convener of that meeting. He said, he was speaking to one of his Yoruba friends about the need for Igbo Yoruba unity algorithms that have been projected, and that was Igbo. So he said he kept quiet for a while. And then after a few minutes of talking, he said to him, by the way, how is your wife? He said, oh, Ngozi, oh, she's fine. It shows the folly in these stereotypes that have been created that make us sometimes fight even our own selves. And the person who was reacting so Igbo care, turns out his wife is an Igbo. And so we need to get away from these emotional things that pull people away from more rational conversations. The real rational conversation is that we have been denied progress by focusing on a system that is so inclined towards consumption and sharing. Oh, there is oil is coming from wherever it is coming from. What is our own share? If we can corner things, let's get more share. I was speaking this morning at another platform, and I went back to local government administration. You know, before the 75, 76 reforms of local governments were not part of the fiscal transfer.
We are having problems with Prof's internet again. We are having problems with Prof's internet again. And this is a very, very important conversation. My darling auntie is here, Onyeka Onyeka. How are you, ma? Please, Ben, can you unmute my very dear auntie Onyeka? Please, please, please. While we await Prof, can we unmute auntie Onyeka?
All right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear, dearest auntie.
Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. Thank you, ma.
And good to see everybody else. And thank God this kind of meeting is going on. Thank God. Thank you very much for hosting it. I can talk now, can I?
Yeah, please go on.
Oh, okay. For me, one thing that is very important right now is the unity of our people. The NSAS protests exposed a lot of things, but I realize now that Ndibo are being made to live in a permanent state of anxiety. Why do I say that? When there is an issue, a national issue, when there is a quarrel, even within different groups, the Igbos pay for it. This has been our history. I don't understand the hatred. I don't understand the lack of appreciation and understanding and accommodation. But what I found to be most disturbing was the level of the disharmony, the type of people that I had a lot of respect for who could go on national television and say Ndibo were the ones doing the attacking, they were in the mob, they invaded the Oba's palace, and these people knew that these things were lies. Where am I going? The ties between us cannot be broken. It's too deep. It's gone on for too long. I know what the Yoruba nation stands for. The Yoruba nation stands for good things, stands for good people, stands for accommodation, for friendliness, for neighborliness. And Ndibo stand for the same. Why can't these two groups of people ever get it together? I don't know. Maybe we need to talk about that. It's okay to say Ndibo should not listen to whomever. But at the end of the day, when poverty has been weaponized and troops in places that can be called upon to wreak havoc on another group of people, I'm not so sure we should leave it at that. I think we should take it further. And I also don't want to say that the Yorubas are the only ones to blame. The Igbos too have a share of the blame. And this we have to be very sensitive about one another, sensitive to one another. What am I saying? Please, let's not stop with this meeting. Let this be a continuous effort, especially when I hear it amongst young people. I am frightened. I live in a household that is mixed, and I know that every day on a regular basis, this bombardment of you are this and you are that and you are not this is what we're faced with. What can we do about it? This is the one issue that can ensure our survival or ensure our demise. Thank you. I love you very much.
Thank you. That was short and sharp, straight to the point. I want to know if Prof is back now, please. Is Professor Pat Utomi back? It's a shame that we've been cutting him off. Maazi, Ezeoke, are you able to confirm if Prof is back, please?
I can't, thank you very much, Chief. I can't see Prof. I can't see Prof here, but please, I do have just a slight follow-up question to my good sister, Onyeka Onyeka, please. Nora, Ekenemgi, Biko, I just want to quickly say, while we talk about, you just mentioned about how people can incite, for just on a small, on a large scale, and it appears in Igbo stays every single time at the edge. Every single thing that happens, you can see tension growing. Now, we all, in the last couple of days, everyone is talking about Lekki, and that is also rightly so, because those involved are our children. But when I sit back and I see comments coming in on my personal phone and they're talking about Obibo or in Rivers State, I do not know. I want you to please, if you know better than we do, why we, everywhere we are, it appears there is this tension. So what is this tension in Obibo? Do you know anything about that, sister?
I'm not sure we're talking about the same thing, but I think probably you're referring to the words that were coming out of Port Harcourt and
yes,
from the governor himself. Very sad to hear that. Ikwere people are actually from, they're Aro people. I am an Aro woman. We live in the diaspora. Tochukwu is our hometown, and Ikwere people are Aros. Please, they should go and check their roots and check history. These things are there for anyone to check. Why people don't want to identify with Ndibo and they want to change the names of towns in Ikwere land so that they don't sound Igbo. I can't answer for them, but I love them with the love of the Lord. They are good and wonderful people. And my hope is that this understanding begins now. Whatever has been said in the past should be kept in the past, and we begin a new chapter of a new relationship of appreciation and understanding for one another. Ndibo are not bad people. Yes, they can be boisterous, they can be noisy, as some people say, but they're very good people. So are the Yorubas, so are the core groups of people that make up Nigeria. It is those that want to weaponize ethnicity and use it as a way to keep this country down. They must no longer be allowed to succeed in doing that. And it behoves you and I, us as people, to begin to sow the seed of understanding and forgiveness. That's what we need to do for our sakes and for our children's sake. For God's sake, if we're going to go our separate ways, there's nothing wrong with that. Let's sit around the table and talk about it. There are international laws that cover such engagements, and it can cover us. Whatever investments Ndibo, Lagos does not belong to Ndibo. We know that. Whatever investment belongs to Ndibo, but we've helped to build up Lagos as we have done everywhere else that we are. That's just who we are. But Lagos is not ours. And if we have to go, we go. But there has to be a way to settle this matter in a way that everyone is covered. And you're not saying to Ndibo, we're now going to kill you and drive you out of a particular place and take over your property. No, that's wrong. That just should not happen. So Obibo, Rumibo, whatever anybody said, those are my brethren. And I love them as such. And I would never accept their hatred of me because of where I was born into, because I'm a woman, or because I am an Arab woman, or whatever, or because I'm married to Yoruba. Who knows what the prejudice is? I really think that we have to put these things aside. Hey, we are people who have something here. We are blessed. We're reasoning people. We're talented people. We're educated people. If you didn't go to school, you went to the school of your home, of your hometown, and what your parents taught you. And parents, let's begin to sow the seed of love and understanding amongst our children. I can put up with it with older people. But when I hear young people spout out such hatred, I lose hope in Nigeria.
Thank you.
Okay, Maazi, Ezeoke, I have a special announcement. Yes, I was just going to bring him in. Hello? Ben, okay. Yes, when Baba Adebanjo was speaking, he asked for Maazi Nnamdi Kanu, and here he is. So I had to send a message that Baba Adebanjo just asked of him. And it seems that this platform will not be complete if we don't hear from Maazi Nnamdi Kanu, because he has been a major protagonist in this debate. So you are welcome, Maazi. It's good to see you again.
Thank you, Dele. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You can take the mic now.
Thank you very much. I thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart for having me once again. And I saw my dear mommy speaking a short while ago. I caught the tail end of what she was saying, and it is a unique privilege and honor to be mentioned by somebody like Pa Ayo Adebanjo, a man I have not hidden my love for, neither have I tried to shy away from extolling his virtues and my immense admiration for his studiousness, for his truthfulness, for his fearlessness. He's a man that I respect. I wish we had someone like Pa Adebanjo in Ohaneze or Pandev. Things won't be the way they are. I love him immensely, and he knows that very much. And I feel humbled that he was able to mention my name. And I also understand that Gani Adams is here with us also today, and also Pa Fasuranti as well, a man that I have immense respect and admiration for. When I remember these men, when I remember Pa Adebanjo, I remember Gani Adams, Pa Fasuranti, these are the people that give me hope and reassurance that what obtained in the past is no longer going to happen. I am very, very pleased to be alive in this very generation, to be able to have such people lead the Yoruba nation, because I now know that we are all in safe hands and that the old divide and rule is no longer going to work. I believe in self-determination via the route of a referendum. There are people who may canvass for Nigeria to continue the way it is presently constituted. There are people who may even want to suggest restructuring. But we must bear one thing in mind. The same people that rejected restructuring in 1967 and 1968 are the same protagonists who are today still rejecting restructuring, by which I mean the British government and the Fulani Janjaweed Caliphate. They do not want it. They cannot grant it because they think it will be detrimental to their survival or to their hegemonic tendencies within Nigeria. Therefore, I will recommend, or I will suggest personally, that people are entitled to hold whatever view they feel they are comfortable with. But for us, it is self-determination via referendum. And I do hope and pray that who knows, one day our children may vote to have Oduduwa and the Biafra nation one as a southern, whatever they may call it, I'm sure it's not going to be Nigeria, and to decide to run their lives the way they see fit. As I heard Mommy Onyeka when saying before I joined, she alluded to the fact that we share a lot of things in common. I think that most of the banter and perceived rivalry between the Igbos and the Yorubas is just something that obtains between Scotland and England. People just banter. They believe in competition. There is a healthy rivalry, but it would never ever degenerate to the point whereby one evening you wake up and you hear that Yorubas are killing Igbo people in some part of Lagos. It will never happen. The same thing can never ever happen in Igbo land either. But it is because we have allowed ourselves over the years to be controlled by forces hell-bent on dividing us because they understand the game very well. Once we divide you, we conquer you. And once we conquer you, we set the narrative for you. And that narrative is that the Igbos and the Yorubas can never come together. And I'm sure that programs like this have, put a light to that. And I do welcome it immensely. Thank you very much, Dele. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear brother Maazi. Thank you for joining us at short notice. Thank you. I would like to know if Prof is back, Professor Utomi, because I had wanted him to speak to some models that we can look at. It's good to educate ourselves. And I'm happy that the dialogue and the conversation has started. Oh, Prof, you are welcome back, sir. I hope your internet would allow us now.
Yes, I'm so sorry. I think it is people trying very hard, even as I ignore them, to call through on the other phone. So I have taken up another phone. I had actually several devices on at the same time. Okay. I was going to say that part of the challenge that we have had is that this divide rule ethnicity-based politicking has prevented us to focus on development. Look, the strategy that many of us have suggested, which is again closely related to a decentralized approach, is, as you were pointing out about UAE, people forget that there's a federation of the United Arab Emirates. Dubai is one of the Emirates and several Emirates, and they are all competing, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, who will bring the most progress to their people. This was the very basis of Nigeria in the late 50s, early 60s. In fact, two American scholars, Howard Wolpe and Robert Melson, called it competitive communalism, competing about who will bring the most progress to their people. I believe that Nigeria should really think in terms of what I like to call megalopolises, rather than looking at, development in small areas. I was involved in a lot of the thinking in Lagos about how to move forward around 1999, 2000, 2001. I remember when the whole idea of mega city Lagos was being pushed. I said, why mega city Lagos? I'd like to see a Lagos Ibadan megalopolis. I'd like to see a Port Harcourt Aba megalopolis, where you have a corridor, just like you have the Boston-Washington corridor, and a concentration of development clusters around those areas. In effect, what the people in Dubai managed to bring together to create a phenomenal growth model. But in Nigeria, we have, in playing this game of sharing rather than producing, prevented ourselves from going down that track. What I continue to suggest is that we turn to what, I guess, structural economics today talk about latent comparative advantage. What is the strength of the Lagos Ibadan corridor? What is the strength of the Oka-Agbo corridor? And how do we pull together production clusters that are globally competitive, from the endowment, that value chain being developed to being the most competitive in the world, and build centers of development? I mean, in one generation, this part of the world will not be recognizable. But because we have been wasting so much energy going to quarrel about, is it 13% in Abuja, a lazy political elite extracting rent instead of encouraging their people to produce have made us one of the poorest people on earth, when it is there within us to be one of the most prosperous people in the world. I think this is the tragedy of this politics, and really what all of our energies must go to stop this real rubbish about sharing. All the countries that have focused on sharing through history have become poorer. But those who have, like Spain is a classic example from Europe 300 years ago, compared to, say, Netherlands or Switzerland. So we must take the lessons that we get from what happened in Dubai, in Singapore, in Taiwan, in Hong Kong, and build mega city-states around which we have these clusters of development. And I think that the kinds of handshake we should be having is not just handshake of political convenience, should be handshake of prosperity and economic development, because we have those endowments stretched in our territory to be able to make that happen.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. The co-anchor should please take over.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dele Mahmoud, and thank you once more, Prof. You basically summarized it very aptly, that we should be having a handshake of economic development and integration. That is very apt. Now, on the other hand, when we look at what when we look at what's been happening, and it appears everything we've been discussing points to one thing. There ought to be, and there must be, and there is already. This conversation, it's in as much as it's been done at the political level, there on the lower level, without anybody speaking to anybody, we can see a lot already happening. There is a lot of intermarriages between the two ethnic nationalities, that is quite remarkable. And that is something that we must also commend. Now, on this note, I would want to see if we have Mr. Akin Osun Tokun. Is Mr. Akin here?
Do we have Basharun Akin Tokun?
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, Basharun Akin Tokun. Is he here?
Akin Oshutokun. I haven't seen him yet. He was supposed to be here.
Okay. So do we have Idris Abu Karim?
If they are not in, would you kindly read some of the comments? We shouldn't waste the comments. We have a lot of comments.
Okay. So one of the comments, and again, I think my dear sister Nora, Onyeka, I think you didn't.
Yeah. So after the comments, we will take Idris. How are you, Idris?
Oh, okay. I think Idris is here.
Yes, we can take Idris after. Yes, Idris is here. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
On with the comments, please.
Okay. So one of the comments here, and I will refer back to Nora, please. I understand. Let me just read the comment the way it came in. He says, bearing in mind the ugly and shameful killing of innocent protesters while they were peacefully protesting at the Lekki gates by the military and rightly condemned globally and by the people of Nigeria, Now, it appears that we are witnessing a worse incident in Obibo and its quote-unquote extrajudicial killing of Nigerian citizens picked up from the streets or hunted from their homes by the same military and their bodies taken away. Is this the military we all wish to have? Have we done anything to identify these individuals? So I don't know if anyone, or rather, if you want to take that question, or is anybody here willing to address that question?
Hola, hello. Hello, can you hear me?
So who is speaking?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
So who is speaking?
I think that's Idris.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's Idris. Yeah, Idris can go on if nobody is speaking yet, and then we can go back to the comments.
Okay, Idris, can you please go on? Control, can you spotlight Idris? Idris, you can go on. We can hear you.
Idris. Unmute Idris. Ben, please unmute Idris.
Hello?
Okay, we can hear you now. Idris, we can hear you now.
Great. Oh, great. Bachelor, thank you so much, sir. It's a great privilege to be here. It's a great honor. Our daddy, Adebanjo, my Yoruba leader, Gani Adams, my beautiful, lovely sister, Auntie Sure, Auntie Onyeka, thank you so much. This is a beautiful moment for me. I think everybody has a point in every fact that have been talked about. The killings that happened on the 20th, 10th, 2020 is a very, very sad one. To the fact that the governor of Lagos State, Sanwo-Olu, actually, denied, sending the soldiers to come and rain bullets on peaceful protesters. They were protesting about police brutality, protesting about good governance, protesting about nepotism, protesting about bad leadership, protesting about so many other things, It's so sad. If life can be protected in Nigeria the way it's going, I think the best thing to happen is for everybody to go their separate ways, just like Nnamdi Kanu has been preaching. Same way Gani Adam has been preaching too. Some part of the country feels like, we're in charge. The country is ours. I've seen a couple of Hausa people where I grew up in the North. I see them, they tell me to my face, like, listen, the North owns Nigeria. It's a sad situation. I will advise that we all go back to regional governance where everybody can control their resources. And also the police brutality that happened on our street every day. A couple of friends came back from America the other time, police arrested them, took them to the police station, forgetting that the taxi driver that actually brought the guy was still around, and he told the guy that, don't worry, I'll come tomorrow morning and pick you up, In the morning when it came, thank God, the two policemen that arrested him from the airport were still there. And it was like, where is the man I brought from the airport that you guys arrested yesterday? They actually killed the guy and buried him because they found dollars in his pocket. It's sad. I feel very emotional every day when I see the situation presently in my country. For example, 20 years ago when I sang the song, Nigeria Jaga Jaga, the then president came out and say, that boy we sing Jaga Jaga, now your papa and your family Jaga Jaga. It's so sad that when you speak the truth in this country, people feel, get to hate you for speaking the truth. But the truth is Nigeria jaga jaga. And until we go back, until we restructure Nigeria, Nigeria will never be the same. When nobody's happy, Igbos are being marginalized, Southern Kaduna people are being marginalized, the Middle Belt has been marginalized too. You know what I mean? I think the best thing is restructuring, and if the restructuring is not happening, let everybody go on their own. Let everybody go their own way. You know what I mean? Let's go back to Let's go back to regional governance, federalism. That's the only way. For goodness sake, how can a governor send the military to come and raid bullets on innocent protesters in 2020? For goodness sake, this is international crime, man. It's unfair. Listen, there's no way you can use money to buy everything. It's not going to happen. People are wiser. I mean, 20 years ago, some of the youth that came out to protest today were 10 years ago, some of them were actually looking at, is this man all right? Why would he sing a song, Nigeria Jaga Jaga? Is he okay? Is he smoking pawpaw leaf? What's wrong with him? But today, I've been vindicated. They all believe that truly Nigeria Jaga Jaga. We need to learn how to accept the truth to our faces, of the truth, whether you like it or not. You know, so it's a saddened situation. It's so sad. It's so sad, and the governor should just own up onto his responsibility and say, yes, I call them to shoot the innocent protester and apologize, and let's move on. But Nigeria is not working the way it is. So I think the best thing is for us to restructure or go back to regionalism. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Chief Host, you can go on.
Yes, I think I'm trying to reach out to two very, very important people. I'm working on that in the meantime, so let's go ahead with the comments. Oh, Basharun is here. He's the one I'm calling. The man at Oxford University.
Oh,
how
okay.
are you? Basharun Akin Osutoku. Eka Bosori Eto. How are you?
Thank you very much.
Can you unmute? Can you please unmute Basharun Akin Osutoku? Okay, yes. Can you unmute Basharun Akin Osutoku, please?
He's now unmuted.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, I was saying that you and I, we are twin in certain respects. One, both you and I are Basham, and then we are both fellows at Oxford University.
Thank you, sir.
Just returned. Now look, there was the opportunity that the NSAS crisis provided. I just don't want us to waste it, right? I'm worried that what we should make of those opportunities, we don't do so, and those are the right lessons. A lot of the young Nigerians today, they have this wrong notion that the problem of Nigeria can be solved uniformly, right? In other words, they proceed from a strategic error that all parts of Nigeria we are starting from the same level of development or vision. So when you hear people talking about the problem of Nigeria is leadership, that's a very blind statement. And of course, it is not, because that applies to every society in the world. Now, the problem of Nigeria, well, if you formulate the problem like that, okay, the instruments with which you use to address the issues of political development, the grand norm is the Constitution. So the Constitution will give you a formula and the logic of development. And that was what we were given in 1960. up till there was nowhere we sat down together to come to the conclusion that that constitution has failed us. It has not. On the contrary, we chose to trash something that is working for us, that really it is the only strategy Nigeria can have if you want to develop, that we threw away. Now also, what also perplexes me is that you cannot logically explain why the Igbos and Yorubas cannot work together within the constraints of Nigeria that they find themselves. Now look, if you believe that 2 + 2 is equal to 4, there is no way division, quarreling with Igbos can ever pay either the Igbo or the Yoruba people. I find it amusing that professors find this fundamental position. It is so simple that you wonder what else could you do. I mean, this is when it leads you to some absurd, conclusions about saying that somebody did something spiritually or what, because it doesn't make sense. Look, whatever you want to do, whichever solution you want for Nigeria's problem, there is no way, quarreling or having conflict between we and Igbo, you can achieve it. Now, a lot of people make this mistake that about passion and emotion. That is not, look, the thing that requires it, that compels, our working together, cooperation and collaboration is meritocracy, right? The two societies are binded in that logic. Look, you don't need to be my brother. I don't need to like you to subscribe to the notion that to work with you. That's the extreme case scenario, right? Anyone who shares that kind of, this is the qualification when people are forming unions or federations. Look, it's just like the European Union. You must fulfill some level of qualifying criteria, level of development, relative development, socially, politically, educationally, before you are accepted to it. Now, that is the only way it can work. If you transpose that to Nigeria, right? Nigeria was always going to have this kind of problem when we were forced, brought together with the North, right? First, because look, we were not at the same level of development, and our strategic division, and this is the problem of Nigeria right from the word go. So you have this absurd notion on which you hear this, and people will rationalize their philosophy, effectively saying that, look, you people in the South, wait for the North to catch up. Don't do anything again. Or maybe you are even asked to sink a little bit. And this has been look, no matter how it is quoted, in sophisticated language, this is a fundamental problem of Nigeria that we have. Right? The irreducible minimum, if we are going to form Nigeria, the irreducible minimum we have is federalism. That is the irreducible minimum. Optimally, we should be a confederation. The federalism that we have, one of the absurdities is that, and I hate to use it, the least qualified region of the country as dominant sets the pace, for the more qualified ones. Look, so right from the word go, you have a disabling factor, that disabling factor. Now, what they do, they are not as, is that they are politically wise. And the strategy they have all along, which makes eminent sense, is for you is to set the Igbo and Yoruba at perpetual conflict. Anytime that my sister Onyeka observed before, is somehow maneuvered to come to that conclusion of saying, look, the Igbos and the Yorubas
Bashorun, we seem to be having problems with connection. Bashorun.
Look, it's a problem. Hello?
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 Yeah, we had problems with your connection just now.
Okay. Is it back? Is it restored?
It's back. It's back. Yes. So 1 minute extra.
Oh, okay. Oh, you are telling me. No, I've made the points I wanted to make. So all I'm saying is that, look, it's something that is confounding to me, and we individually we should try and go back. Let each and everyone who is in this meeting go back and reflect at the logic of your position. If you have an objective to achieve, right? So go and think of how best you can arrive at that objective. When you do that you come to no other conclusion, than to work together. But I'm waiting in case anybody else, can find finish minute. Hello?
Hello?
Have I exhausted the minute?
Yeah, go on. We can give you 1 more minute. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, because we are supposed to take Pastor Tunde Bakare now. He's been waiting for long, and he has other to do. Yeah, we want to take Pastor.
Do that.
Bashorun, your internet connection is not working fine.
Hey.
Where are you? Are you in Lagos, or you are in Ekiti or Abuja?
Well, I hope.
Hello. So Bashorun just got back from Oxford, where he's been on fellowship. It's good to see you. The last time I saw you was having dinner with you at Oxford. Thank you so much. If Ben could, the internet is very bad. If Ben could kindly bring in, okay, Pastor Bakare is here to give us his words of wisdom. Thank you, sir. I know we've been keeping you waiting. Thanks for honoring us, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
I can should put more online. No, I'm here.
Okay, sir. You are welcome, sir. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
I'm here.
Yes, sir.
It is my pleasure. And thank you for putting this together. The Nigeria of our dreams can never become the Nigeria of our reality until we all sit down together to begin to think of what that Nigeria will be. The best dreams come to pass when you are awake. Nigeria as presently constituted is not the Nigeria that was handed over to us at independence. We could have kept on building on that, but it was truncated. And right now we have to raise the foundation of many generations and start to build afresh. And nobody owns this country. It's God's own country. The Bible says God predetermined the boundaries of every nation, whether it's done by British or done by anybody. God predetermines the boundary of every nation and the time of their visitation. I think the time had come for us all to put our hands together. East, west, north, and south. The best of the north, the best of the south must come together. There is no part of the country where there are no patriots, where you don't have genuine lovers of this country, hardworking people. But they're in the minority right now. But the minority that is right will become the majority It's only a question of time.
Please go on, sir.
I would want to encourage everyone in this Zoom or webinar meeting to come to terms with the reality that things cannot continue this way. This nation is bleeding from all ends. And it's a pity that we have allowed those who have very little understanding about governance to continue to dominate the political landscape of Nigeria. The likes of Chief Obafemi Awolowo and the founding fathers of our nation prioritize the welfare of people. Today, education has gone south, it's gone down the drain. The education we received took us to the nations of the earth. I never studied for 1 second outside of Nigeria. Thank God the likes of Oshuntoku, Aken, yourself, I've been to Oxford. I've only seen Oxford on television, I've not been there. I studied here in University of Lagos, and I've lectured in universities abroad because of the quality education that I received. Today, education is not, capital development is not prioritized. Almost everything about our nation. In fact, when part of the Constitution says that an imposed Constitution, that is, when that part of that Constitution says the purpose of government is the security and welfare of citizens, you know, everything in that section of the Constitution is not just justiciable. You cannot show it. It's received on daily basis that we have a
the internet. The internet.
Republic, and it's not
we are having connection issues. It's been going very fine. Ben, can you hear me, please? We are having internet issues.
Well, I can hear you clearly.
Oh, okay, sir. If you can hear me, sir, please continue, sir. Ben, please spotlight Pastor Bakare. Please go on, sir.
Okay. I believe I'm fully persuaded that the rage of the poor we just witnessed is a wake-up call. You can call them hoodlums, you can call them hooligans, you can call them what you like, but they are Nigerians. They are deprived people. They took law into
Wow, this internet.
SARS is not just a unit of the police. SARS is not just special anti-robbery squad. SARS is state-aided robbery. The system is so warped that you make the lazy, the gluttonous, the greedy rich overnight at the expense of every person. Oshishawa alone is what the Yorubas call it. If we are going to emphasize rule of law, if rule of law will become a standard in this country and right becomes might, you will discover that there are so many people who are talented, but they are using it wrongly. I heard a governor saying the other day that those people who looted will be brought to book and they'll be sent to prison. I just laughed. That is the governor's housing policy, because those people had no house. They had no homes where they lived. They lived under the bridge. Most of them live on the streets. So take them to prison and feed them. That's your housing policy, because you have not done the right thing. And you have to go about it in a roundabout manner and in an upside manner. We need those who still have their brains intact to sit down and begin to ensure that will bring pressure on all facets of government and governance in this nation. We need an enlightened citizenry, an empowered citizenry who knows the power of their vote. They must be empowered, or else stomach infrastructure will continue. We need a system of law that will strengthen institutions so that nobody can bribe INEC to do what is not supposed to do. There are so many things we need to do, but let's start by first and foremost coming to terms. What type of Nigeria do we want to see? Because if there's no goal, if there's no objective, there's nothing to aim at, there's nothing to drive at. What type of nation do we want? I want a nation that works in my lifetime. I do not want to write a letter to a ministry and never get a reply until I get there physically. We have suffered a great deal. I was talking to the British High Commissioner the other day. I said, when I was applying for British passport for my children in the UK, I never visited the passport office. I just took the forms at the post office and I filled the form, included the necessary checks or what have you, postal order, and sent it to British passport office. They return everything to us with the passports without me making a phone call. That's the nation that works. Here we use long leg to get everything. To renew passport is like you are going to war. To get a passport is like you must know somebody. Until that stops, we can now have the country of our desire. And the country of our dream, that will become the country of our reality, will require a lot of hard work. It's not all days splinter groups that have no cohesion and that are not driving towards a particular objective other than just let's make noise today and make noise tomorrow, and mad today and mad tomorrow. No, we need to sit and then begin to put pressure where it matters. Those in government are not better than us, and those in government are not as powerful as the citizens of this country. You have seen what young people could do within 5-10 days. The whole nation can do the same thing if we coordinate all these things and channel our energy in the right direction. That will be my contribution for now to allow others to speak.
Thank you very much, sir, because I only told you this afternoon and pleaded with you, and here you are, sir. Thank you so much. My regards to you and your family, sir. Thank you.
Any day, Bashir, any day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So now I'll be calling on a very, very distinguished Nigerian, and that is Chief Oscar Onwudiwe. He is the President General Aka Ikenga Igbo, to speak to us, and then we will move on from there. Please, if the President General is in, we will want him to speak to us now. Chief Oscar Onwudiwe.
He's not in.
He's not in. Are you sure? Could Mr. Ngozi Odumuko confirm if we are still expecting Chief Onwudiwe, please? Okay. While we check where he is, I wanted to just chip in a few things that the Igbo and the Yoruba have had a long-standing relationship. Growing up in Ile-Ife, I remember that even at a point, Chief Obafemi Awolowo picked his running mate from Igbo land, and I think that's Chief Philip Umeadi. I'm sure that can be corroborated by those who know a bit of the history of Nigeria. I mean, that's to tell you that despite all the propaganda and the division between the Igbo and the Yoruba, they've always worked together. I also remember that when the Civil War started, one of the greatest Nigerian poets was Christopher Okigbo, and Professor Wole Soyinka took a risk of traveling to go and check on his friend, and he himself landed in prison at that time. Also, when General Mamamvatsa was going to be killed by firing squad for planning a coup, 3 people three great Nigerian writers approached the government to stop that killing. And they were Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka, and John Pepper Clark, who passed on just about 2 weeks ago. So this to tell you that there is so much we can do together, but this division has been put in place deliberately by some politicians for their own gains. Those who are giving us all this horror, I'm sure I'll be surprised if they're up to 1% of the whole Nigeria. I doubt it. So on this note, I would ask the co-anchor very, very politely, ask the co-anchor to please give us some of the comments so we can sum this thing up and then we can close the program. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Chief Dele Mahmood. Thank you very much for that wonderful job. And to basically look at what people have been saying, people have been making more, I think it's more comments than questions, so that we get that one clear. And having said that, one of the questions that I think comment here is from Prince Dykesy Anyang, which says that he wants to submit without being insulting, and that he questions the academic prowess of Igbos and the Yorubas if the so-called, or if it is so difficult for them to know that they only need to put their unnecessary egos aside, come together and have themselves liberated from what is happening today. Now, I think before I go on, I think if Dr. Pastor Tunde Bakare is still with us, I do have a question of clarification, and this is based on, I have it as a personal message as well that came in, but obviously it's something those that have known you and followed you for so many years, you've been an advocate of replacing state of origin to state of residence. You know, as it is today, within the context that where the nation finds itself today, what would be are you still advocating for that? And if yes, how do you think that such could be achieved within the state that we're in today? Thank you very much, Pastor.
Thank you very much for that question. I remember sitting down with a few men when I took part in the 2011 election and writing as #1 priority returning Nigeria to true federal structure, and #2, and the manifesto of the party, CPC, the #2 item is no longer will any Nigerian be asked to fill a form that will contain state of origin. It will be state of residence. And when I mentioned redemption before restructuring, I'm not trying to belittle restructuring. That is the end product. But the truth of the matter is, we need to first and foremost agree that we want to stay together. Amalgamation welded us up together, truncated our democracy, and all kinds of things that happen. A system that we call federalism that is nothing but, well, let me not even go that route. Till today, I still believe that with good men in charge of our affairs, with trustful give and take, we can sit at the table of brotherhood one more time. We've done it at the national conference. I remember the charter that I proposed that was unanimously agreed. I don't care. Look, I was born in Abeokuta. I was raised in Sokoto. I came back. I've lived in Lagos for over 40 years. I do not know any other place. Yes, I can travel to the east, west, north, or south, but any Nigerian should be able to live in any part of the country that he chooses if we are one nation. Otherwise, a constitution that cannot bend will break. I'm not advocating any old Nigeria. It is a Nigeria that will be reforged, that will be reformed, that will be restructured, where every Nigerian has a sense of belonging and no one feels marginalized. I have Igbo friends. I prospered in Igbo land. Majority of my legal practice days, I can still mention my names, the names of my clients to you in Igbo land who will sleep in my home, like Chief M.O. Kanu, like Lin Wokefo. They will come to my home to pass the night. I will go to a band, sleep in their homes. I have friends in the north, in the south, and everywhere. I cannot suddenly wake up and be thinking of just me as a Yoruba man. The other man is an Igbo man. Will never forge a true Nigeria that way. An American can tell you, an American can, first and foremost, you ask, you say, I'm an American. Oh, I live in Oregon, but I was born in Missouri. They know that it's God, nation, self. Except we embrace that, we are still fooling ourselves. We continue. Look at the intertribal marriages that have taken place. The next person to me in church who is next to me is an Igbo man who has been with me for over 30 years, 32 years. He's married to an Ijebu woman. Are their children Ijebu Igbo or what would you call them? Is our leaders that are using ethnicism and religion to divide us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for that.
Yes, sir. Could we bring in the coordinator of Nzuko, Umunna? He's a very, very humble gentleman. This whole project started from Nzuko Umunna. He's the coordinator, but he's been in the background. He has a quick question for Pastor Tunde Bakare. The coordinator of Nzuko Umunna, please, Ben, can you bring him on so he can ask Pastor Bakare his question, please?
Yeah,
Ben?
thank you.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Greetings all. I want to greet you all for making our time to be here. To my very good friend and boss, Pastor Tunde Bakare, nice to see you. Some of us have been following your preaching. Even though I'm a Catholic, I enjoy your preaching so much. In my school days at IGBO College, Yaba, I follow you every Sunday. You fired us up. I can say for free, you are one of the champions that brought the new narrative of the great Nigeria we all want to see. And being that I'm an Omoluabi, I'd like to find out. I see that our daddy was Payo Adebanjo, Pelu àwọn Ogawa Iba Gani Adams. And can you, we want to thank the Yoruba nation, excuse me, please, for what they stand for. I'm sorry, I have my hands full. This is the United States of America. In the US, men, they help their wife carry picking. So I'm carrying my. So this is the US. So in that vein, I want to ask you, our great man of God, Pastor Tunde Bakare. Lately, there is so much attempt, especially from the political class, to divide the Igbo and the Yoruba, right? To create a dichotomy between the Igbo and Yoruba. We followed the 2019 election, where we see a lot of things. The Igbo community, you see some people coming to deprive them from voting. Like Momodu Kanu said, that every time there's a conflict in Nigeria, the Igbo people are made to be in a mood of anxiety. The Igbo people are made to pay price, to pay for settlement where they are residing. Now, as a great leader, I remember some years back, you were the running mate to President Buhari, right? So what is your view of this kind of situation where Igbo man, everywhere they are resided, they are meant to be in perpetual fear? How can this be resolved? And what is your view between the Igbo and Yoruba bond to solving the Nigerian question? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I cannot claim to have monopoly of wisdom in this area. I grew up in a nation where in my childhood days, there was little difference between Ngozi and Joko Kale. We were in school together. I still remember my friends who were Igbos and those who are from Calabar, from all parts of the country at Lishabi Grammar School, Abeokuta. And I still remember my days in the university as being actively involved with the union. We have Igbos and Yorubas. The problem that we have in this country is that some are, they have found it easy. If you look back, and I do not want to become authoritative in things that I'm not quite clear about, but if you look back into our political system, the deep-seated anguish between, or maybe if you like, friction between the Yorubas and the Igbos began in the politics, perhaps of Western region, when certain positions were taken by a political party, and they thought they used ethnicism to divide or to deprive a particular candidate of winning the election. But we have read all kinds of views that suggested otherwise. Today, the Nigeria that we dream of can be accomplished by just first and foremost recognizing the humanity of us all. I've heard many people talk about the Yoruba race, and that's where I respectfully disagree. God created only one race. It's called the human race. If the Bible tells me that, now there are ethnic nationalities, that is true, either by language or culture or ancestry. That is true. But we are humans first and foremost. That's why an Igbo man can give blood to a Yoruba man can give blood to a German. We are first and foremost. It's because we have devalued humanity. It's no longer sacred, and we can dispose of people that we think are not in line with our own views. Ordinarily, if you are a thoroughbred Christian or you're a person who believes that God created us equal, we may have different opportunities or different background, but that does not count at the end of the day, where the field is a level playing field. I respect Igbo, I respect Yoruba, and I have all kinds of people in different organizations that I've been privileged to lead. And we don't look at their ethnicity, we look at their productivity. We look, can this person deliver? We don't even look at gender, as it were. We look at who can deliver. And there are people in every ethnic nationality in Nigeria who are people of substance, people of quality, people of integrity. And if we can get days to run the affairs of our nation, then the blind will not continue to lead the scene. I have never discriminated against any man based on his religious views or his ethnicity, because I believe faith is a personal thing, and where you come from and where you are born could be an accident of birth to some, but it's planned and purposed by God, and you have to relate with others. It's a global village. And the earlier we realize that in our country, the better for all of us. That would be my simple answer to your question. There should be no such, we should dig into history and find out how many other efforts have been made by those who came before us. I remember Chief Obafemi Awolowo, I was no longer a kid when he chose Umedi as his running mate. And if there's a deep-seated hatred for the Igbos, why would he do that? And many have judged him wrongly. And all these things we should put in the past, because we cannot continue to look in the rear mirror and think that we'll make any headway. Time had come for us to design or to agree on what type of nation we want to have, and together, all hands on deck, to begin to work towards that goal. East, west, north, and south. Nigeria is my country of birth. I love Nigeria, and I thank God for Nigeria. And no matter what happens in the days to come, God will help us to have a proper governmental structure that will favor all in this country, so that a sense of belonging will be something you assume because you are not an Igbo man, you are not benefiting from this because you are Igbo, you're not benefiting from this because you're Nigerian, you are benefiting from anything you're benefiting from because you're Nigerian and you are contributing your quota to Nigeria, and you can live anywhere you choose. That's my own Nigeria of dream. Of my own dream.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pastor. As a follow-up question to this, there is a question that came from the chat. It says, at what point would the Yorubas and the Igbos say that it is time that they have given enough, that they now want to go their own separate ways? The question says, Aburi Accord and the National Confab have failed, and the government have failed to implement them. How long shall the conversation continue?
Who is that question for? Is that for Pastor Bakare or for who?
I just put the question to Pastor Tunde Bakare now because he just spoke on that subject.
Well, there are those who believe we should go our separate ways. But honestly, I do not subscribe to that view. I'd never advocated it. I believe we can restructure Nigeria. If you think those things have failed, it's because the people that will implement them have not. Let me give you a background, please. My understanding in a little way, in a nutshell. Take Israel as a nation. Enslaved in Egypt for 400 years. Wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. 12 sons that became 12 tribes, which you would call like ethnic nationality today, 12 tribes, coming from the same ancestry, but there were 12 tribes. Eventually, the kingdom split into two in the days of King Rehoboam. They went their separate ways, but they came back together again. You are still in the same geographical location, as was said by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, that Nigeria is not a nation because nationhood had not been forged yet. It's a mere geographical expression. You are still in the same place. What is going to happen if you say, let's go our different ways? All the Igbos in Lagos and in the north will return to Igbo land. Where is the land that will take them? All the Yorubas will come back to Yoruba land from wherever they are living. Let us be practical. We need trustful give and take. No matter who is saying it will not happen, restructuring is an idea whose time has come. And it's like a moving train. It's gaining ground on a daily basis. It will come to pass, I believe, very, very soon, because any right-thinking leader would know we are better off together than fight ourselves and go our separate ways. I don't want to take a visa to go to Umuahia, to go and sleep in Linwoke Air Force House that I've slept in the past, where we hear the morning cock crow. I don't want to take a visa to go there. I do not even want to take a visa to go to Ghana or go to Zimbabwe. I believe that will happen in the continent of Africa, but let's fix our home first. If Nigeria can get it right, Africa will get it right. That's my opinion.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. With the kind permission of the co-anchor, Maazi Ezeoke, please, I hope I have your permission to make the following announcements. One, time is fast spent, and we don't want to keep people any longer. I'm told we now have Chief Oscar Onwudiwe in the house. I'll be calling him shortly, and immediately after that, I'll be inviting Gani Adams to give us his closing remarks, and also Maazi Nnamdi Kanu also to give us his closing remarks. That's after we have Chief Oscar Onwudiwe, and then the coordinator of Nzuko, Umunna, will come on finally to say a vote of thanks. Thank you so much. So over to Chief Oscar Onwudiwe. Ben, can we have Chief Oscar Onwudiwe, please? Please unmute him. Ben, please unmute Chief Oscar Onwudiwe. I don't know if Chief Oscar could press the unmute button on his set, please. Ben, can you hear me? Chief Oscar, please press the unmute button on your handset or your laptop. I don't know which is which. Why is Ben not able to unmute him?
He has to unmute himself.
They said you have to unmute.
Can you hear me now? I have done that. Can you hear me now?
Okay, we can hear you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, you said the day is already fast spent. I have to, in that case, I can say all protocols ignored. My intervention is first to say I'm particularly happy to be on this platform right now. This handshake across the Niger did not start today. The first one was actually in 1977. I was a bit young there. And it happened where? In Island Club. It's not today. The truth is, well, let me not go through the history because Professor Utomi did that. Adebanjo did a lot of that. So let me just go to one thing. The situation in Nigeria today, and I'm very happy about it, very happy because suddenly we are finding the wisdom, because let's face it, I think we've not been thinking. We found the wisdom to say, let's begin to look for those we have shared values with. The last time I saw that a group of people started something, and Professor Utomi mentioned it here, YIGBA, meaning Yoruba, Igbo, and others. When we started it and we had this meeting in Professor Pat's house, part of the thing I made clear on that day is that all the cardinal principles of Omoluabi is exactly the same with the cardinal principles of Nwafigbo. So the question is, what is really the problem? What really is the problem other than one-third politics? I grew up in Lagos. My father had to send me out of Lagos to go learn how to speak Igbo. My first vernacular was Yoruba. So I saw when we were in Nyomiri and we graduated to Kobo. And eventually at the end of the war, as it was going, suddenly we entered Kobo Jati. And you begin to ask yourself, where is this coming from? And when you check when Kobo became Jati, politics has started. If you check the years, Kobo became Jati when? By 1979. And why is it so? Because the organized civil society is not bonding well enough. In every society, you have those 5 things, like you have 5 fingers. The executive, the legislature, the judiciary, then the 4th estate of the realm where Dele Momodu is, that is the media, and then the 5th. The 5th is what? Organized civil society. If they stand strong, the other 4 will do what they want. I want to believe that what we're starting now, we can sustain and not just make it an outing once in a while. No. People like me, we've decided, me, myself, and my association, we're writing to Governor Sanwo-Olu if it starts in Lagos, and all the governors, particularly in the north, the southeast, and in the southwest. Can we start? Forget National Orientation Agency in Abuja that is doing absolutely nothing. Let us have local orientation agencies. Lagos remains, for instance, what you call the commercial hub or the economic hub of Nigeria. If Lagos is destroyed, we're all down. We're all gone. It has nothing to do with no, there will be nothing like a Wolo in there. It will affect all of us dangerously. So what am I praying for? I pray we do not take it lightly, because we will be saving our own lives. And we'll be doing what? Improving our. And the reason for the distraction is simple. Distract them and steal. And that's what's been going on. Nobody's discussing development anymore. So if you have a problem, for instance, look at what happened at the toll gate. I heard rumors that the kind of briefing that our emperor had was different. That, oh, don't mind, it's these southerners who are trying to embarrass you. They want you out of office. And I want to believe that rumor because it could be the only reason why some soldiers will come and start shooting at little kids. So we must understand that it's one of the most important imperative in human development is what? The mindset factor. We must work on it because every human being can be programmed. Nobody was born to say, ah, this one is this and this one is that. You're programmed. So we can begin to reprogram ourselves. For what? For our children to have a better life, for us to again begin to witness politics of development, other than politics of stealing and sharing. I do not want to say too much because you say, and I don't even know what to say. When Adebanjo spoke, I said he spoke my mind. And then most other people, including Onyeka, most other people spoke my mind. And then let me address this issue of people who are talking about going separate ways. Let them understand that they are weak. You go to a school and somebody bullies you, it's okay, I'm going. What about organizing to bully that person back? Now we have 4 zones who have decided to cooperate. And somebody saying we'll go our separate ways, you know. I just go. I don't like what is going on. Since Aburi didn't work, since this one didn't work, we didn't restructure. Let's go. What's that? 4 zones have agreed that we can restructure this country. 4 versus 2. And then we're talking about going our separate ways. Come on. It's not strength, it's weakness. Let us be frank about it and let us say it bluntly. It is weakness. It's when you're a weak man that you say, so you don't go. You stay there and you fight it out. I remember during the struggle for independence in this country, one of the statements made by Nnamdi Kanu, he says, we shall continue the struggle with a spirit that knows no defeat, holding as our armor the sword of truth. If these 4 zones will hold as armor the sword of truth, for heaven's sake, and of course the spirit of togetherness, tell me, who is that person? It's only a phase. I want to continue to thank those who introduced impunity, because when they did, we suddenly realized that, oh, it's time for us to come together. May they continue so that we remain together. With time, we'll teach them how to love, not how to behead people. I would like to stop there before I get emotional.
Thank you, sir. Chief Onwudiwe, thank you so much.
If you call me Mr. Obi, I will appreciate it too. Before some people slap me.
It's okay. You are a big chief. It's just a sign of honor. It's a title. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. And your intention is well appreciated. You must all agree with me that the diversity of opinions has been quite remarkable this evening. And on this note, I would like to respectfully invite Gani Adams to please give us his closing remarks. And I would ask Maazi Nnamdi Kanu to please also get ready for his closing remarks. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Well, my position is not closing remark, Bashoro.
Okay.
Let me just come again and reiterate my position about defending the interests of our brothers and sisters who are Igbo on justice. The information that was submitted by in Yoruba land about Niger forging out fallacy that Igbo court crisis after the attack on our promising youths in Lekki. I can assure that we as Yoruba, as usual, we are highly accommodating and we are to protect interests, because we realize that the Igbo the businessman and women in Yoruba. And the economic inputs give us growth in terms of development. And I don't want anybody to have that fear again, because when this information was being disseminated by the few elements that was a call from different angles. The Ezeoke in Lagos called me, the Eze called me. I said, relax, we know where this information is coming from. And know how they upgrade their propaganda to cover their costs. And within three days, we'll be able to weather this storm. But let me come back to the issue of solution to the country, because I've listened to different speakers with their view and opinion. And we have a speaker on the basis of diverse in terms of ideology or what they want. But I want you to know that we started agitating for restructuring through Alao Abaton in 1989. And when you calculate the year of 1989 now, it's about 30 years more than. And when you are talking about restructuring without strategy, it will be very difficult to achieve restructuring without strategy. We continue crying for about restructuring in another 100 years, and our institution will be destroyed, and state of nation of Nigeria will decay. And the generation that is coming did not have the patience that we have. Look at how organized the youth came out to have a peaceful position about demand to move this country. Though their demand was 7-point demand, education, health, household demand, but the main cogent point is the changing of constitution. And the changing of constitution, which lie about restructuring. And what kind of restructuring do we want? Because when you are saying that you don't want this country to break, we are one, and some say that they won't allow you to be, they won't allow this country to be structured. I will refer you back to the state of Jaba on Wednesday, the level of arrogance as a slogan of the Mr. President, that no matter the pressure, Nigeria not destructive. The last was talking about the 4 zones that are to fight for restructuring. The 4 zones that cooperated to fight for restructuring, the players, the political products did not even agree with you. Some of them are thinking about 2023, how they can give them the presidency. And at the same time, we have to fight this struggle on 2 sides. You should not abuse somebody who believes in self-determination. If you don't agitate for self-determination, the Northerners will not do restructuring. The only thing that can strike their heart and mind is when the Southerners say, we will break if you don't restructure. They don't want to break up Nigeria. And if you are negotiating in a weak point, you can't get what you want. If you want 5 things, ask for 15 things. But when you say, as an elite, we will continue calling within 2 years time now, we have a version of 2003. They will throw cut on you. They have started dividing us. They will give you president because they know Kanu is asking for self-determination of IGBO, and they saw him moving to different international institutions. The pressure of giving them the let us throw this kajo or carrot to the Southeast so that it can weaken them. By next month, when they know that the US is calling for self-determination, they already give it to Fayemi or Tinubu. So that's a political joker and strategy to weigh us down on the basis of ideology. I will advise, because when you are talking of handshake across the Niger, we have to move on this thing on the basis of strategy. It's not about growing grammar. We have to know where we are going and way forward, how we can achieve what we want. Please don't discourage Kanu in his own self. Let them continue their own restructuring. Yoruba will tell you the capacity. Let us use the hand of the left and the right. You will clean your hand. But the situation you are telling somebody who is risking his life based on freedom, it will be very difficult to live. I am not praying that Nigeria should break. If Nigeria breaks, who tell you that the IGBO will do their business in Nigeria Republic? Who tell you we drive them away from Lagos or any state Yoruba land because we are Odo Republic? Are you telling me Yoruba is doing their business in Igbo land? Who can even eventually become a Biafra republic? Are you telling me that Igbo is not doing their business in Benin Republic and that's another country? Our pastor Bakare has said that they don't want to see in another person country in Igbo land. But if the North Panel, we won't give you restructuring. They have to play with that. We are Southerners, we are intellectual, we are partner, we are strategy. But we are not good in political strategy like Fulani. Fulani are about to be a political strategist. They know how to cajole you people. So we should not continue to be a toothless bulldog shouting restructuring. At the end of the day, you don't get it from me. But 2022, in the middle of 2020, nobody will be talking about the president. They will be thinking of who they will give the minister, maybe their son or some of their friends. Maybe they will have a political patronage in the federal. But now it's still very hard. Let us put more pressure on the power that be. We have oligarchy in all the 6 geopolitical zones now. We even have the oligarchy in Yoruba land, who didn't share ideology of self-determination, who did not even share the ideology of restructuring. We are shooting on ground. We have Yoruba that in their own mind, in their own thinking, they want the power. The power, and they will continue to be enslaving us. They will continue to be looting our treasury to make them become a political mafia. So I will appeal to our brothers and sisters in this program. Let those who are fighting for self-determination continue with their self-determination. Let those fighting for restructuring continue with restructuring. At the end of the day, we will lose votes, we will get one. Either we get a restructuring on the basis of regionalism in all the operating units. If you get a regionalism in all the operating units, I know within a period of 10 years, Nigeria will be compared with a European nation. But if we don't be strategic about it, we will have it. Because I was meeting of the Southern Nigeria organization in finance Astro. They were attacking. I said, look, don't attack this young man. I haven't met him by then, and I haven't had any contact with him. I said, let us empower him to be, so that can achieve restructuring his own self-determination. But they did it to me, and they used all the force to drive away from Nigeria. It's now in international level now. It's having more nations. So I will appeal to people and appeal to Yoruba people that anybody who have a mindset in the two struggle, let's give him certain leverage, even though we don't share it. But I can assure you, at the end of the day, we get one out of it. Happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Iba Gani Adams, the Are Ona Kakanfo of Yoruba land. Thank you so much, sir. Now I'll be inviting Maazi Nnamdi Kanu to please join us. Maazi Nnamdi Kanu, thank you. Please unmute him, please.
I'm trying to unmute. You can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to thank everybody who participated today, and especially my dear brother Iba, who just spoke now, and of course, Adebanjo, a man that I'll continue to love and have respect for the rest of my days on this earth. And of course to you, my dear good brother Dele, thank you very much for having me. Now, as Iba Ganadam said, I do respect divergent views and opinions because I am a Democrat, and I would like to reiterate that. One thing that comes across anytime this debate is had is the weak position from which the South is intending to, should I say, debate this restructuring of a thing. Restructuring cannot work because Nigeria has very faulty and shaky foundations. It cannot work because there are competing and divergent value systems. It cannot work unless we are deceiving ourselves. The borders are open in the north. They close semi-border. But the borders in the north are open for all manner of very desperate and evil people to troop into the country, to rape, to massacre, to pillage. No one is talking about it. You're talking about disparity in terms of our concept, our understanding of how a society is supposed to function. I'm absolutely flabbergasted that some people that I have regard for in terms of the intellect can come on this platform and be debating how to keep Nigeria warm with all the inbuilt anomalies in place. You can't go to beg Fulani for restructuring. They won't give it to you. You have to prize it away from them. That's what Gani is talking about. You need to take it away from them. They're not going to sit down and say, oh, come and take it. Ochuku went for restructuring and they said no. What makes anybody in their right senses think they can give it to you now unless you have a very equitable leverage to wield? Once you do not have that leverage, you cannot get restructuring. And that leverage is self-determination. Without it, you cannot get anything. It's high time to understand this, I'm absolutely shocked. Look at what's happening in Obibo. You want me to be in a country where a madman like Wike can get up in the morning and decide to slaughter people. And the slaughter is going, even right now, this very minute, people are being killed in Obibo. And you want us to somehow subscribe to this useless, corrupt entity of Nigeria. Who created Nigeria in the first place? Who created Nigeria? Let me ask you. Who did? Did any of these people now talking today? Do you have any input as to where Nigeria is supposed to be? What is wrong with self-determination? What is wrong with referendum? In Britain, you have an autonomous Scotland, you have autonomous Wales, you have autonomous Northern Ireland, you have autonomous England. What is wrong with that, for goodness sake? Sometimes I'm shocked the way we reason in Africa. It is absolutely shocking. What is it? What is the incentive for anybody to subscribe to One Nigeria? I ask. There is absolutely none, none whatsoever. You are in a country where you have a people who they have this sense of entitlement. We have to determine what happens. You go to NNPC, it's only Fulani people there. You go to customs, only Fulani people there. You go to immigration, only Fulani there. You go to the army, the high echelon, it's only Fulani there. Air Force, Navy, oh, come on, for goodness sake. Let's stop deceiving ourselves. Nigeria is unworkable. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But I do thank all of you who spent or who gathered today to give us, a snippet of your immense wisdom. We do appreciate it. I am not for restructuring. I am for the outright breakage of Nigeria, the same way we were before the white man came. And I make no apologies about that in any way, shape, or form. Now, there are people who may want to, for reasons of nostalgia, or kind of hankering back to the past. They saw 1960, people were out on the streets, they were dancing, they were making merry, there were high hopes for Nigeria. I mean, I can excuse them, but the reality today is that you have Fulani, a very virulent and dangerous Fulani Janjaweedism on the march. They want Ruga, they want to take our waterways. I mean, oh, come on. Nigeria is unworkable, can never work, and will never, ever work. The best way for us is self-determination. If they feel that they have the superiority, so to speak, or they have the upper ground in terms of the validity of the argument, they should come out and debate with us. What is wrong with a referendum? If you claim that a majority of the people want to remain in one Nigeria, then let's have a referendum. Let's determine it once and for all. How come via a referendum, Atiku became a Nigerian citizen? Why should I not be allowed to exercise the same right that Atiku actually exercised before being allowed into Nigeria? What is wrong with that? I mean, these double standards I cannot understand. Let's cut to the chase. The only thing holding Nigeria together is the oil and gas in Biafra land. For the sake of that oil and gas, Biafrans are being killed right now as I speak. Wike is carrying out his genocide in Obibo right now. The day we rise up in anger, misunderstand us. But right now that this genocide is happening, no one is doing anything about it. I cannot be in a country with people who do not see any evil, they hear no evil, and they condone evil. I cannot be in the same country. Heaven knows I cannot be in the same country with these people. If there is any need for us, I would prefer a situation whereby those of us in the South will get together and say enough is enough. And until we make that categorical stand, believe you me, this nonsense will continue. The South, the Yoruba, the Igbo, and of course, a very significant presence we have in the South-South should be able to come together to say enough is enough. You don't beg Fulani. If you beg them, they will drive you into your grave. We need to stand up and say enough is enough. If you don't do this, if you don't do A, we do B. As simple as that. Then why should we beg them? Who are these people that we're begging them? All the time is begging, pleading. And as Ganadam said, come 2022, they'll start talking about elections. They want to see the future of their children in Asorok running all over the place, either as SSA or as secretary to the government. All these debates about restructuring will just go through the window. But our consistency over the years has proven time and time again that self-determination is the way to go. And there is one thing that will make it absolutely critical that we sustain this very drive. And that is the unity and camaraderie between the East and the West, between the Igbos and the Yorubas. And when we say the Igbo, that means encompassing everybody who's in the East, and of course, our Yoruba brethren in the West. Once we are together, believe you me, Fulani will panic and they will give us what we want. If we are not together, we are repeating the mistakes of the past. And I pray to God Almighty in heaven that we do not do it. And on that note, I've come to the end of my submission this evening. I want to thank each and every one of you, and of course, Dele yourself, and all the very eminent personalities that grace this very program this evening. Once again, thank you very much, and remain blessed.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. And I would like to call the coordinator of Nzuko, Umunna, Mr. Ngozi Odumuko, to please give us the final words and vote of thanks. Yes, I'm aware a lot of people are still interested in speaking, but we cannot go on permanently. We have to close at this stage. So please, Mr. Ngozi Odumuko, please, let's have the final statement from you, sir.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Ngozi, we can hear you.
Okay,
Ben,
but before you go ahead with Ngozi, please, just permit me to put up this question to you before you make your closing remark. Now, there is a question from the chat that says, is there any plan for this handshake to continue beyond online and perhaps form a formidable team to shape our collective future? So please, can you put that into your question, answer, sorry. Hello, yeah. Okay, hold on. And as it is now, Ngozi, I think he's got network issue. I will bring him back through the telephone, and he will speak to us now quickly. Ngozi, hold on. I'll just bring you back through. Okay, you are right on now. You can go ahead and speak.
Hello, thank you all. I want to thank our leaders, most importantly, we're so strong, despite he has seen it all, he has remained consistent and strong. I want to thank so much Dadewa, our leader of the Yoruba nation, Baru Fasoranti. I also want to thank the great generalissimo of the Yoruba nation, Gani Adams, one of the Nnamdi Kanu, the great leader of the IPOB family. I want to thank my great friend, Chief Dele Momodu, Maazi Ezeoke. I want to thank Heritage TV UK that partnered and supported us in this project. All the speakers with my good friend that sang Nigeria Jaga Jaga, Idris Abdulkarim, my mommy Onyeka Onyeka, the boss, Professor Utomi, Mr. Oscar Ndewey, Tochukwu, Bakare, and all the eminent and great people that spoke. I want to thank the audience that participated in this program, because without the audience, we will not be having this one. And I'm very sure that Ovation International, TV International is streaming this live, both on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all their channels, right? And also Heritage TV is doing same too. And also NJENJE Media by Maazi is okay. Now, to bring me to a close on this, the Nzuko Umunna, the main brain behind this concept of handshake across the Niger, would like to appreciate the Igbo leader, Chief Momodu, who is the President General of Ohanes indeed. He would have been here today, but something came up. I want to thank him so strongly for his leadership. I want to also thank all the Igbo family and the Yoruba family. We so know that without the union and the collaboration of the Igbo and Yoruba, the black entity, the black person on earth will be having challenge. The Igbo and Yoruba should know that they have the key to the black man's problem on earth. God created black man and black woman for greater purposes. But we've not achieved that purpose because all over the world, the black man is still struggling for the identity question. So it is the Igbo and the Yoruba that it is paramount upon to solve that question. The day the Igbo and the Yoruba agree to work together, we are the most intellectual people. We are very egalitarian. We are very industrious. We are deep. We are spiritual. We are strong. We are everything good. The day we agreed to work together as a people, God would have been so much excited that his glory for man has come to reality. I want to thank all our Yoruba brothers that are pushing the Igbo and Yoruba narrative. And I want to thank the Igbo leadership too. I want to believe that this will be the beginning of a new dawn for black people on earth. I subscribe to the views of everybody that says, let us begin to query the Nigerian question. We have a lot of youth that are roaming around without job. Is this your destiny? I, for one now, like I'm in the United States of America, you are entitled to a lot of things, social security plan. If you don't have a job, there is something you're entitled to. If you're going to the university, you don't have funds to self-fund yourself. You're entitled to financial aid. But all of these are not what is available for us in the Nigerian state, despite we have so much and so much plenty. Right? Our youth are every day approaching every embassy to leave Nigeria. Our ladies have been turned to forceful prostitutes in Libya, in Lebanon, in Algeria, in Tunisia, in Italy. So this should not be the issue. And now let me use the opportunity finally to appeal to Mr. President. It is good to dialogue. It is good to engage. It is good to discuss. I think the time has come for Nigerians, for the intellectuals, for the young people to engage and sit on the round table and say, this is the way forward. This is the Nigeria of our dream we want. We need to talk about this. If people don't talk about it, that is where you see uprising. So for there not to be uprising, I want to encourage the Nigerian states to key into dialogue. There shouldn't be a time when we must use brute force to silence citizens. I'm an Igbo man by heritage and origin. I'm in the United States. I'm being respected, despite that my first country of citizenship is Nigeria. But how come a Nigerian man in Nigeria cannot be respected by the police, by the army? Young people are being killed. They carry gun and point at you as if you are an animal. The things that happen baffles one. Here in the United States, I can tell the police, I will sue you, I can sue you. Right? But in Nigeria, people are being threatened. This should not be the narrative. I want to encourage and thank the young people that had the boldness to say NSAS. Please, let this narrative not change. Ethnicity not divide us. I want to appeal to Governor Wike. I say, Governor, you with so much power. Please let the killing stop in Port Harcourt, in Obiwo. I want to appeal to our governors. I want to appeal to Mr. President. Please let this killing stop. Protect your citizen. Bring your citizen to a round table and let your citizens engage with you. Love your citizen. As a leader, you're a father. Let love and peace reign in the land. And may God bless Nigeria. May God bless men and women of goodwill. And may God bless the Igbo. And may God bless the Yoruba. May God bless Gani Adams. Bless Nnamdi Kanu, Ruben Fasoranti, Adebanjo, Chief Momodu, and all the Igbo leaders and Yoruba leaders, and the people in the South and the Middle Belt, also up north there. May God bless you all. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you, Nzuko for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much once more, Ngozi. Thank you. So over to you, Chief Dele Momodu. So thank you. Do we still have Chief Dele Mahmood there?
Okay. It's not coming off. Aha. I said now we've come to the end of the program, and I want to thank everyone who joined us. It's not easy on a Saturday for people to sit down and be talking like this. It's because of the love that we have for ourselves as brothers and sisters. So I want to say a big thank you once again. I want to thank our viewers, especially on Facebook and on Instagram. We'll be uploading everything, even on YouTube, so everyone can watch this later. Thank you so much, and good night.
Thank you.